Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Cantor David Prozer of Kempsville Conservative Synagogue, Kehilat Bet HaMidrash in Virginia Beach. And this is a discussion of this week's Torah portion for Shabbat, May 2nd, 2020, the 8th day of ER 5780. This week we thank Rabbi Matthew Berkowitz, Rabbi Joseph Prauser, Rabbi Michael Gold, Rabbi Joyce Newmark, and the United Synagogue Torah Sparks for their various teachings and publications on this week's Parsha. As we did last week, this week we again read a combined double portion from the Torah. The two portions are Acharei and Kedoshim. Acharei begins on page 679 of the Eitz Chaim Chumash, or page 480 of the Hertz. Parshat Acharei is familiar because it's the Torah reading for Yom Kippur. The Parsha begins by returning to the immediate aftermath of the death of Aharon's two sons, Nadav and Avihu. Aharon is disallowed from entering the Holy of Holies. God instructs Moshe to guide his brother and remaining nephews in a detailed description of the Yom Kippur ritual conducted by the high priest. Only on this day is he permitted to enter the Holy of Holies. The sanctuary is purified, and the priest, in his elaborate vestments, atones for himself, his household, and the community of Israel by means of 3 confessions and expiatory sacrifices. The sensual ritual of the day involves the random designation of 2 he-goats. One for the Lord is sacrificed as a sin offering. The sins of the Israelites are transferred symbolically to the second goat, popularly known as the scapegoat for Azazel. That second goat is sent off into the wilderness where it is set free, carrying away the transgressions of the people. Contrary to the popular misconception, the scapegoat is not killed in the ritual. The meaning of Azazel is somewhat elusive. It's used in contemporary Hebrew as the equivalent of hell. Its biblical usage may be the name of a desolate area to which the goat was sent. Rabbinic interpretations vary. Azazel is said to describe the harshness of the desert or to refer to the goat itself. Az-Azel or Ez-Azel also approximates the Aramaic phrase, the goat that goes away. Azazel may also derive from a mythic wilderness demon. The English term scapegoat is medieval, dating only from the 16th century. The annual observance of Yom Kippur as a day of atonement and self-denial is prescribed as a permanent sacred rite. Chapter 17 deals with the prohibition against the consumption of blood and carrion, and the centralization of the sacrificial cult, and lists the dire sanctions for violations of these norms. Acharei concludes with a detailed list of forbidden sexual practices, among them various degrees of incestuous relationships and other illicit unions. This code of sexual mores distinguished Israel from the degenerate nations of Egypt and Canaan, and its neglect is deemed grounds for expulsion from the Promised Land. The second Parsha this week, Parshat Kedoshim, begins on page 693 of the Eitz Chaim Chumash, or page 497 of the Hertz. It opens with the overriding commandment that gives this Torah portion its name. Kedoshim tihiyu, ki kadosh ani Adonai. You shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. This is why we left Egypt, so that we could become a holy nation. And right here, we get the fine print of exactly how to do that. Kedoshim has been described as a brief Torah, and as a reworking of the Decalogue, because many of the Torah's basic teachings are to be found in these two chapters. The many mitzvot found here strive for holiness in all areas of life, ritual, civil, and ethical. It provides the way to achieve the goals of national and individual holiness. Among the wide-ranging commandments in this parsha are reverence for parents, the prohibition against idolatry and false oaths, laws about the offering of well-being, the requirement to leave gleanings and designated areas of fields for the hungry and poor, the prohibition of various forms of deception and fraud, including withholding a worker's wages, the prohibition of exploiting the vulnerable, including laws against cursing the deaf and placing a stumbling block before the blind. Various aspects of justice are further explored, including the requirement to favor neither the poor nor the rich at trials and the obligation to reproach a wrongdoer. The Parsha includes a number of agriculturally based commandments, including the law of the Orlah, the prohibition against consuming fruit produced by a tree less than 4 years old. Tattooing is prohibited, as is cutting gashes in the flesh. This prohibition is understood by the rabbis to refer also to the creation of mutually exclusive and hostile sects of subdivisions within the Jewish community, which would be tantamount to unsightly and unhealthy wounds to the sense of a Jewish united community. Further commandments include the prohibition against necromancy and the requirement to show deference to the elderly. The fundamental Jewish value of relating to the stranger with love is prescribed and linked to the Jewish national experience of being strangers in the land of Egypt. The obligation for honest business practices, especially honest weights and measures, is also provided. Parshat Kedoshim also teaches perhaps the most famous lesson of Torah, V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, that you will love your neighbor as yourself, a simple yet complex teaching. The portion continues with the prohibition against sacrificing one's children to Molech, an ancient pagan practice, as well as the prohibition of witchcraft and divination. The people Israel are to separate themselves from the pagan practices of the people of the land as they learn to separate the pure from the impure. The Haftorah this week is from Amos, chapter 9, verses 7 to 15, found in the Eitz Chaim Chumash on page 706 and on page 509 of the Hertz. The opening of our Torah portion strikes the note of consecration in our individual lives. The Haftorah is an oracle against those who have rejected that high Jewish ideal and thereby bring about the downfall of the kingdom. Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos, and again, as we say every week, we look forward to the time when we can be doing this live in our own sanctuaries at Kehillat Bet HaMidrash and Temple Israel and not have to do it on YouTube. But in the meantime, we thank you for tuning in. Again, Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos.